Palworld is a game that lets you, the person watching this video, be the bad guy. It reminds you that the countless families you've torn apart is just a business expense, part of the job really. But Palworld doesn't deal with theoreticals. This ain't no college paper. Palworld deals with fun. If the pal is undergoing working conditions worse than a Siberian prison and then dies, there's no mystery to the cause of death. It was you. Don't kid yourself. These aren't pets or animals dying. There's no PETA to make some bold statement like reminding me beef tastes amazing. Just you and unregulated growth. Death is a business expense. Why would you value creatures with no rights? You give them an inch, they take a mile. And yes, I'm talking about unions. Now you could be thinking,
Hayden, this is cruel. They are clearly creatures who love and care for each other.
Are you crazy? You'll learn very quickly through just experiencing the game that these pals are pit bulls and they see you as an unsupervised toddler. The first person you meet in this game tells you that the weakest pals ate his friends. They didn't knock him out, they were not just killed, they were eaten. We find him hiding from the pals after watching his friends become a Big Mac. These are not cute cats and dogs, these are heartless animals hell-bent on your destruction. This is how you start a game. This is all learned within the first 10 minutes of the game. Palworld never makes you question your morality about what you're doing. We aren't activists, we are capitalists. There's not a single action morally that isn't better than barely in the gray area, and being honest, that's a stretch. You do get some chances to be the good guy, but the idea that those insignificant moments come close to outweighing the countless crimes you will commit is hilarious. Your choices on how best to optimize your pals through love or fear is your choice, and you're not stuck to one decision. You will get rewarded either way. But if you choose to just love and care for the pals, you're a pussy. We are woken by beings, evil beings, peering over at us, staring at us as a snack, but we are not delectable, rather we taste impure, like unseasoned steak or a computer with League of Legends installed. A tablet next to us speaks to us. Find the tree, it says. So I look at my options. Swim into the blue ocean and likely end up next to that Titanic submarine, or climb. So climb I did. I do the first action that all good adventurers do as I get to the top. I tweak my graphic settings. This is a survival game, so we do by the book by punching of thy tree. This lets us craft our first workbench. This bench is actually really cool. It lets us craft rumors of WMDs and hide them in countries we don't like, but that's so outrageous, that would never happen, right? Just so you know, behind my back, my friends all call me a hero and a martyr. We talk to our first person and they seem a little shaken for some reason. Almost like someone bit a chunk out of them. Almost like he lost his appetite. Almost like his friends died. We soon encounter the vicious and evil creature that had taken their friends. A sheep, a chicken, and a cat. I soon capture my first pal, a Lamball. This creature will be my Pikachu, my best friend, and what am I to him? Is Ash Ketchum. Editor, cut to the part of me forgetting about him the next day and keeping him in a box for an in-game year. Cool thing about this is that there's no tutorial, it just sets you straight into the action with small but helpful tips. For example, if I were to piss my pants, this game would have a pop-up looking like this. I can't control it, okay. The world of Palworld is so grand. It has a lot of little things for you to do, find, and explore. It's not a empty big map for the sake of it. It's big because it has to be. It's a set of islands, and with less distance, it would kinda ruin the fun of finding something along the way. Pals provide an interesting mechanic compared to most survival games, and not only automate but speed up the grind that makes me consider blowing my shit off smooth. This means that the experience of missing one small resource and having to trek across the entire map is here, but the trek is fast and eventually your pals can get it for you. Each pal has a set of skills that they are most optimal at, and some skills they are incapable of doing. This pal feature alone lets you just screw off and do the fun parts like exploring and capturing pals, or more apt kidnapping, while still progressing. Pals make the game feel more like a train, with you always heading towards your goal, rather than a slot machine where I get unlucky with random loot drops 9 times in a row and I'm on to watch. Hopefully not at Epstein's prison. I find a mostly empty plane and then set up my base. Within 2 minutes of me setting up this base, we get a visitor. Could it be this game's equivalent of a professor? Is it free goodies? Maybe it's a cool NPC who will assist us. No, it's none of those. It's a guy selling pals. I really want to stress, I was 22 minutes into my playthrough and I'd already had a guy advertising the child he found on the street for $9.99. If you ask for my opinion on this, I would say this is where gaming peaks. It's only downhill from here. I spent the rest of my first day in Palworld finishing out my base and completing the mini quests that come along with it. To make your base, you first place down a pal box. Pal boxes come with quests for you to do. When you complete these quests, it upgrades the amount of pals you can have on your base working and the amount of pal boxes you can have in your world. The pal box lets you store captured pals so you don't need to keep them on you all day. Oh, and in case you're wondering if the pals get paid, they get paid in the satisfaction of helping me progress and grow as a person. So no, in Brian's dreams he could see it. 7 towers calling his name. Something to be conquered like a sovereign nation state. In his dream, he knew that he wasn't just here to spread his capitalist ideals to the pals and their owners. Rather, first he'd need to conquer the island. The voices were telling him to tariff all foreign powers as a punishment because the pals are island hopping over the border and committing all of the crimes. Ever. The only thing that could fix this is a capitalist utopia with Brian at the head. I knew to do this, I'd have to find as many pals as I could and put them all in my balls. I could only ever call his journey complete once all 7 towers had fallen, and I had kidnapped as many as I could. For the second day, I would reduce the local population, then add to my base. The leveling mechanic is something that at first I thought I wasn't going to be a huge fan of, but I ended up enjoying it. Your pal's strength is capped at your level, and you get exponentially damage reduced when attacking something significantly above your own level. This mechanic forces you to explore selected areas in a certain order without completely blocking you from the more challenging areas. If you do end up going to a harder area, the experience for killing something there that's much above your level is very high, so it's not just a net negative, there's some positives to this system. I went to go capture more pals, and there's multiple benefits to capturing many of the same type of pal. I crafted myself some weapons and protection. I make a bed for my character to sleep in, and then I just kind of stare at it until day 3 comes along. Crafting in Palworld is simple and straightforward. For this example, I will be following a guide from a random Reddit user to make natural glycerin. I'm going to need a lot of chemistry stuff, I bring this stuff together, and then I get what I want. Crafting in Palworld is that simple and straightforward. Now, all I need to decide is which one of my neighbor's windows I'm going to throw this into. I wonder what my high school chemistry teacher would have thought if all I needed to bump up my grade a little bit was a little motivation and natural glycerin. I go exploring to see what's around my base, and I stumble upon 2 things. A dungeon, which I'll get to later, and another person selling pals. I've now met 2 people who saw a cute little guy by himself on the street and are now selling him for $11.99. The price went up. Palflation. And I'm just saying, with a smile like that, I trust him with my firstborn. And my finances. Maybe even my wallet. I chose a direction and started wandering off, and then I ended up getting stuck into a wall once I loaded out of the game and then back into it. Unfortunately, this is a known issue to the point where the developers have a reset button.
Now, this might be a stretch, and you can call me crazy, but I have a feeling this might be an unintended mechanic.
The main way to acquire resources in Palworld is through getting your pals to do it or to find them yourself. Because I currently have the technology advancement of the Amish, and even then I think that might be a little offensive to the Amish. But they're not gonna see this video. Plus, my pals have the functional motor skills of a 3-week-old baby. For now, my only options are to find them, and I'm okay with that. Waypoints, or fast travel points, are stone figures with a bird on top of it allows you to fast travel. Go figure. They're clearly not built by people of this island, as their aesthetic doesn't match and won't match what we see in the future. And as I've been talking, you've likely noticed the small thing in the background. Yes, that's a whole ass oil rig, and that's not edited. When I saw it, I just stared at it like a kid in awe. I went to talk to the guy who's staring at it like a bumbling buffoon. He mentions the syndicate and how I should stay away from it. I will heed your warning for now, stranger, but I will come back. A dumbass deer starts attacking my base. A cool mechanic, pals at your base act like pals in your party, so they attack anything you attack within the radius. Anything passive that walks in the base and is chilling, the pals will not attack immediately. I added to the work area, made some small additions around the area, and then I started making a dedicated place for crafting. The main way you get resources out of pals are these little facilities that produce a single material, so you don't need to work yourself like a slave, rather you can sit and prosper like you deserve. Every so often there's a day where enemies come and attack you. Today we have Toko Tokos, which are these cute little guys who would not get past airport security. They waddle towards you, throw a couple attacks like some air blasts, and when that doesn't work, then they start bolting at you like a track runner and beeping like my smoke detector. I added a berry plantation for a consistent source of food. I do appreciate the correct word choice. Do not be mistaken, this is not a farm, this is a plantation, and the developers understand the difference, and my dog won't stop barking. And the developers understand the difference, and I appreciate that. I captured myself a Nightwing with the intention of riding it. Pals have different abilities, varying from being used as a meat shield to having rockets being fired out of its ass. Nightwings are flying mounts, and they are straight ass. There's not enough specific negative adjectives for me to explain how bad they are, however, they are the first flying mount you get. When you capture a pal, their drop amount increases, but the fact that they drop anything at all when being captured means that the capture process is likely very painful. There are these green scroll statues you can find across the map. These are one of the few ways to increase your capture power. These are permanent upgrades, so if you're playing through the game, getting these is a must. There are many collectibles around the map, so you're rewarded for just picking a direction you haven't really explored and then just start walking. Constantly in the unknown and just walking in a direction. You're essentially getting rewarded for being an escaped dementia patient. In the bright morning, I decided to take on Chillet, the first Alpha Pal you fight. Alpha Pals, or mini-bosses, are little goobers who are just born stronger, smarter, and better. Alpha Pals spawn in the world as bosses, and they are catchable. This game ended up being pretty easy, and most Alpha Pals can be beaten with a bit of grit. Much later on in the day, I made a crossbow, and this thing, it slaps. Each time you upgrade your equipment in Palworld, you immediately feel it. The difficulty of everything just slides down one notch after every set of upgrades. It's much easier to experience this than to show it, but trust me, it's a great feeling. Another type of mini-boss are these dungeon guys, and that's trademarked. If you use that, I will sue, and I will get my lawsuit dismissed in record time. These dungeon guys tend to be a little bit tougher than the Alpha Pals because they have AoE abilities in a restricted area. They sometimes have little critters who are an extra obstacle. This just means you need to pay extra attention, which I did not. Round 2 I did a lot better. I then captured the Pen King, and here's a cool thing you should know about them. Pen Kings are awesome. I went back to the tower a little later to scout it, but I soon came across a camp. These camps spawn in set locations around the map. They vary in difficulty from easy as pie to that one bottle that knew younger that wouldn't open. So impossible. I ran into one ran by the Syndicate. Out of curiosity, I happened to get a human being really low, so I thought why not try capturing him. This is a person, the game wouldn't let me capture it, right? Right? It didn't stop me, and now I have a human pet. If this game sets up logic, it does not deviate. If you can capture beings, you can capture human beings. Once you beat these camps, they let you release pals. I also appreciate the word choice here. We are not freeing them, there is no freedom for these creatures, their only release is death, and even then I'll find a way to bring your ass back. Their lives are pretty close to an unpaid intern having their company being bought out. I wouldn't really describe that experience as freeing. If any released pals are expecting their lives to go uphill from here, I wish to have 1% of your delusion. I built an egg incubator. There are fixed egg spawns lit around the map, so another way to collect pals is by getting these and hatching them. There is one more big way to get eggs, but I won't spoil that for you. Sometimes NPCs spawn who just like to fight to the death or give you some kind of reward. I can't fault a man for liking what he likes, and of course I oblige to fight. The fight is just like a Pokemon's battle, except you shoot them with bows and guns and then rob them. This in Philadelphia is called a greeting. This is also what I mean where you should just pick a direction and go in it, and then follow any distractions along the way. There are these bounties where you fight an NPC who has a pal, and then you receive a bounty marker, which are amazing. The loot you get from dungeons is random, often annoying and too much. The bounty tokens are you get less loot, but you get to choose what you want. In the bright and early morning, I woke up with a mission in mind. I took the waypoint closest to the tower and I was ready. The Rain Syndicate tower was going down. Brian's eyes were lit up with a passion that he hasn't felt since he first found out about a new minority he can target. Wirebacks. Who might be the great person that protects this tower? It's this game's version of Al Capone, Zoe. She's the leader of this game's Team Rocket. Zoe is in fact not here to take pals through clever schemes, rather she raids, robs, and drills for oil. Holy shit, this is just like America. She goes around to various settlements and just straight up pillages them. Her ass grew up just like Megamind, being taught right and wrong from murderers and thieves. Her moral compass is about as straight as my cock. Now, how do you think she met her pal? Do you think it was A, she met her pal exploring the vast islands of Palworld? Do you think it was B, somebody might have gifted it to her? Or do you think it was C, she killed the owner, put it into a cage, and now commands it? The world building is amazing. The story you learn from just paying attention is immense and awesome. However, with parts of the story being held behind walls of text, I didn't really want to read them. So when I ignore parts of the story that you may or may not already know, it's not because I'm skipping it, it's because I simply did not know it at the time when I was playing this part. Cool? Cool.
He looks like an evil, piss-covered Pillsbury doughboy.
He starts out with his dire hole, then hiding behind a wall like a pussy. You see, Bill, dire holes are very good early game pals because of their stats, their mobility, and their moveset.
Well, I sure agree, Bob. This puts the fight just simply in our guy's favor. He's now metaphorically at the 1-yard line with 5 downs because why not with Derrick Henry. If he doesn't get a touchdown, we'll have to start double checking for rats in a room because that would be fucking crazy.
It looks like Zoe's now using a move we're calling the railgun. It fires repeated loads into our target, or what my wife calls a Sunday afternoon.
Yes, I'm very familiar with that, Bob. Maybe your dumb bitch of a wife wouldn't be sleeping around more than a frat girl if people actually liked you.
Yes, Bill, I think you're Oh, wait, it looks like Team Hayden Jaden is dodging Zoe's attacks. This looks like it might be a sweep for Team Hayden Jaden. We're in the final thousands of health. This was really well played by Team Hayden Jaden. I think we might have a new dynasty coming.
Whoa, Bob, you're glazing this random guy so much, I think it might be a character written by him.
And then Team Hayden Jaden has won versus Zoe. Well played on both sides.
Brian, after completing that, thought, wow. He thought, wow. Brian wasn't going to continue journaling his story without some kind of payment, so for now, he paused his journey, where Brian will go over the next 6 towers that he defeated. Thanks for watching. Okay, you're good to go now, but if you're curious about me, stay for a little bit longer, but don't expect you to. I originally planned to go through the entire game, and now at the time of writing, I have 2/3 of the game's scripting done. But I've just gotten busy and I don't have the time to finish this video in a reasonable time. So, if you enjoyed this video, share it. That's more than I could ask for. I'll make a part 2 and then finish the story up when I have time. Till then, thanks again for watching.